He's going to take us through and actually show us how Raindrop has responsibly built the AI as a who approach into their platform. Shannon?
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jeff. If we could go to one more slide that I have here, it's really just more of an introduction because I think part of the whole idea of finding your who and how that who can help you is what are the questions you're actually trying to answer and what are you trying to accomplish? So we know for a lot of people, they just want to find information quickly. They want to ask questions, be able to do simple searches, and have the detailed, rich information appear for them. It's also about eliminating the mundane, all of that repetitive work that you're doing, that grunt work. A machine can do that for you, and a machine that can think and act responsibly is really crucial. And then most of all, you really want to be able to unlock deeper insights from your solution. You want to be able to get the information you need without, again, having to do all of that digging. But you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the results that you're actually seeing. So what I'm going to do, and Jeff, if you want to let me share my screen. I will do that now.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and for everybody here, do an 8-9 minute demonstration quite quickly of all the things, of some examples, not all the things, some examples of how AI and automation and agents and assistants and all of these tools can actually help you work. And I'm not going to always break it down and say, this is a very specific example of AI here, because I think at the end of the day, what you're really looking for are solutions that can help you work better and be more efficient. So we're going to start by taking a look at what Raindrop looks like. It's really a simple user interface that does have an AI assistant that can do things like answer questions. So if I say, show invoices on hold, it can really quickly take me to my AP screen, which is very simple. I can move information around. Maybe invoice amount is key for knowing something on hold. I want to get the most expensive invoice that's on hold dealt with first because that's a problem. Search by receipt quantity or sort in a way. I can even see that I've got a message going back and forth with someone to determine what's happening. So again, a nice quick example of asking a question and getting the information I need without having to navigate to a screen. It's a similar approach if I wanted to know what contracts are expiring. I could ask the system to tell me, show me those things. And it might come back and say, well, how quickly do you want to see them? And I want to know those that are expiring in 90 days. So again, the search can come back. I can see a total value on the bottom, the number of contracts that are out there that are expiring. And I can start to look around and see, well, what's other information I might want to know? I could actually look at a much larger search. Maybe I want to see, just show me overall SaaS agreements that I have in place. In this case, I'm able to sort and filter in a lot of different ways that are easy. And this is where we start to see where you can dig in and get information that is simple and actually do more with it. So I could actually create a whole contract using contract generation with generative AI right now. In this case, this is another example of using generative AI where I might want to actually say, give me a summarization of this contract. We all know contracts can be hundreds of pages long, and you might not want to look in the details for each one. The summarization form will actually summarize information that's crucial for you for each type of contract you have. In this case, it's letting us know that there's actually some critical missing information at the bottom of the screen. It's telling me this. There's something that's confusing, maybe my governing law it's highlighting where it's from so I can know. So this is letting me know what information is critical for me about this contract. If I want to know a little bit more and actually dive into the details, I can click on the contract itself. There's something we have including multi-user edit. So if I want to, instead of having to email a contract back and forth between an organization while I negotiate, we could actually allow this multi-user editing to go through. In this case, the system goes through and on the right-hand side, you can see a risk analysis is happening. So it's actually flagging up to me, hey, these are terms that are green that are fine, but yellow, maybe that's a problem, or red, this is something you should really take a look at. So again, the system itself can do this risk analysis. And I might say, you know what, I want to replace this with a better clause. So I know that was hard to see, but it could bring up a clause and you could change it really quickly. It will put that in, track all your changes, but it's building those recommendations for you based off past experience with your contracts and what it thinks to be correct. Another thing you can have here is an assistant. So again, I can ask questions of the assistant like, hey, what are the terms for termination or the grounds for termination with this contract? I might not want to have to go through and read all the detail of it. And it can pop back. It did a summarization, but now it's actually telling me these are the reasons why you could actually terminate this contract. So things to be careful of and be aware of while they're going on. Another thing you can do within the contract module that we have is the ability to actually go in and do a full text search. So I know this isn't even necessarily AI related, but this is something we have a lot of people ask us about, like which of my contracts have indemnification clauses that I need to be concerned with. So again, it's a combination of I use AI, I use systems, I use what I have in place to help me be better and more efficient with what I'm trying to accomplish. So those are some examples of being able to get questions answered really quickly. Maybe there's some actions I need to take. Like if I wanted to, I could go in and say, hey, I want to create an NDA. We have a lot of users in our organization that need to quickly work with new people, exchange information, and they want to make sure that it's secure. So we have this one-click NDA that can be created to say, hey, I need to do this. This is who I'm working with. We can optionally have it drop in particular clauses based on a commodity, but you don't need to do that. And once you're ready to go through and you have your NDA, you can actually have it sent out using RainSign. So RainSign is our own internal e-document tool, but you could also use Adobe Sign, you could use DocuSign, anything that you need. But what I've done is I've created an opportunity for a user to be able to quickly get something that they need without having to ask the legal team to get involved, because we know that that can be a bit of a hassle going back and forth. And I don't have to wait again for email signatures. I can go through and I can track what's happening right there and know what's happening at any point. So a really nice option for people to be able to create something really quickly, share it with the right people, and know where status is at any point. Another thing that people want to do sometimes is just get stuff, like buy a laptop. So in this particular case, again, I've gone through again, just our assistant, or sometimes we even think of it as a digital front door, to say, I need to buy this laptop. And it's done a federated search across all the catalogs. It's looked at what I've got through Amazon Business, as well as a catalog I have loaded for Best Buy. My user doesn't care which one. They just know what they want. And if they wanted to actually know, well, who needs to actually approve this laptop order, they can see the detailed workflow. So again, I've given the user all the information they need without making them navigate to a particular form or screen. So that works great if you have things that are already set up in your catalog, but sometimes people have things that are not necessarily in their catalog. So in this case, I looked for an MS Office Suite license, and I can tell by those results it's actually not what I needed. So I'm going to say, hey, can I create a spot buy for this? And the system can actually go out and know, well, based on your past performance, based on people you've bought this from before, or the particular commodity for that item, here are suppliers that you can use. And I could actually have it go and create this approved order for me. It'll automatically drop in the item that I asked for, and it will actually figure out the price, again, based on either past orders or if it's doing a web search for what's there. Now, notice on the top, I have an order that's been created. This was based on a particular client that we worked with. You could also have it be a requisition. It could have its own approval process. Again, spot buys, you might want to say, hey, if it's under $500, go ahead and just approve it. But if it's a larger value, I might want to actually have that go off to a buyer or someone specialized to see this. Another place that we see people really wanting to use AI and get better insights is looking at things like their suppliers. So again, on my supplier screen, I can go through, I can sort, I can see my suppliers that are approved or those that are active. I can look at their attributes or certificates. Are they minority owned? Have they passed ISO certification? And I can look through and see particular details of them. In this particular case for Cisco, it's a nice simple place where I can see all the contracts I have with them, any sourcing events they've been involved in. I could even look at invoices and orders. It's all here for me. But if I want to go in and get advanced insights, I can actually find out what's relevant to the supplier right now, not about what was relevant when I selected them maybe a year ago. So here I can see a summary of who they are, their latest industry ratings, and even a risk assessment that's come through organizations that I trust to provide me this information. This is really useful for suppliers I'm working with today. But what about suppliers that I might want to look at in the future? For me, I might want to go out and do some supplier discovery. So again, I can always use suppliers that are in my system or even in the Raindrop marketplace that have signed up or have been working there that's free for them to use. But maybe I want to look for new sources of supply. So in this case, I'm trying to find suppliers that can help me with semiconductors. I'm going to restrict it to my region of the United States. And I might want to even include or exclude particular suppliers based on, I want suppliers to look like this or not look like this. I can have revenue, I can have searches, how many do I want to have come back? And I can get a really quick summary now of a list of companies, descriptions of what they do, their location, and then a rating range. And it'll actually even tell me why I have this rating range here. What's the reason for it? Is there additional information about these suppliers? So I've just done this super quick whirlwind tour of all the reasons that you could possibly, not, I keep saying all the reasons. We've barely scratched the surface of the reasons that you can use AI. And that's what we've been doing here, is allowing people just to see how they can get questions answered quickly, how they can take some actions, and also get advanced insights using AI. So Jeff, take it away.
And now, real quickly, I know we're at the end of our time here, but we do have one thing you can do today, right, to help you advance your AI journey. And that's take a 5-minute AI readiness pulse check. No email required. Go on. It's going to give you some action items to take depending upon where you come in your AI journey. So go out. The link's in the deck. We'll send the link out after this as well so that you guys all have that. And we know that there's no time for questions because we're at the end of our time. But please, 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 if you have any questions, let us know. We will follow up. We will make sure that you get answers to the questions that you want answered.
Perfect. And that's it. So we hope you guys had a good summer school session, that you're getting ready to go back to school in the fall. Hope you get some time by the beach or the pool or whatever adventure you're on. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.